Hi there, welcome to Margaret Lewin Quilting. Today we're going to make this absolutely adorable pillowcase. And the best part about it is when you open it up, you don't have any raw seams at all. So if you want to see how I made this, stay tuned and I will put the pattern out on my website. This is what we need to make the pillowcase. We need one piece of background fabric, which is, let me get it out here, which is 5.5 by 40.5. Then we need another piece of our background, which is this one, which is 25.5 by 40.5. Then I chose one green strip, which is 1.5 by 40.5. And then these are what's going to make the top of the pillowcase here. And it is 20 pink rectangles that are 2 3/4 by 2.5. Then I have 30 green pieces that are 30 green pieces that are 1 by 2.5 inches. Then I have 10 purple pieces that are 2 3/4 by 2.5, and then 20 purple pieces which are 1 3/8 by 2.5. So I'm going to start putting all of these together, and like I said, this makes the cuff, which is right here, and I'm going to put all of the instructions out on my website so that you can get it. So I'm going to do my chain piecing, and these are my 2 blocks. So I'm going to attach one right after the other. Let me get these out of the way so that you can see better. So here is block 1, okay, and here is block 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these 2, and then I'm going to sew these 2. I'll sew these 2 and these 2. Then I'm going to attach this and this and then this. I'm going to make all of my blocks, and I believe I'm making 10 of this and 10 of this. Once I've got all my blocks put together, I'll be back to show you what my blocks look like put together and how I have pressed them. I have sewn all of my pink ones and they're sitting over here, but I want to show you something on the purple ones. So when you go to put these together, this is what it looks like. Let me get it laid out first. So this piece goes to there, whoops. And then this piece goes down here. So this is what, whoops, this is what your piece is gonna look like. So there's 1, here's 2, and then there's 3. Now when you go to attach this, I'm gonna put it like this, line it up, and then I want you to put it through. The best way I found to put it through the machine was like this. So you're putting the little piece on top, because what does happen if you sew it like this with the little piece on the bottom is this piece can very easily move like that, and then you're not going to be centered or straight. And because this piece is so tiny, you have to really work at keeping it straight. So I'm gonna line it up like this and then put it through the machine just like this. I wanted you to see that. So I'm gonna finish sewing these and then go press them, and then I'll show you. All right, I've pressed all my pieces, and what I did was just, you can see here's my press. I set my seams, and then I put my iron down and I just pressed right across. So they're just going in one direction. And I did the same thing for, you can see the purple block. So here's the front, and here they are together. One of the nice things about the way this was designed, let me set it next to each other like this, is that none of these seams have to butt. They're fine on their own. So we don't have to, you know how we nuzzle those seams together? We don't have to do that, which is really fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this one over and I'm going to turn this one over, and I'm going to have I'm going to put them through, let's see if I can do this easily. I'm going to put them through the sewing machine like this. So my top seams, this here, I'm going to be able to control this so that these don't fold over. And on the back side, my seams are going in the same way that my sewing machine is going, so that, again, I don't fold them over like that. And what this will do is give me nice flat seams to sew up. So I'm going to sew them in groups of 2, then in groups of 4, and then I'll just put the rest of them together. So I'll be back when my band is put together, because then it gets really fun. We get to start working on the pillowcase itself. I've sewn my first set of 2 together, and now I'm putting it together as 4. And what you'll notice when you do yours is you've got 2 options here. You can either put it through the machine like this, and then you've got 2 of them that are going this way, but look, you've got 4 seams on the back side that could flip over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through the machine like this, and to just be certain that these don't move, I'm going to stick a pin in here and a pin in here, and then I don't have to worry about those seams flipping over. So that's onto this one. I have sewn all of my blocks together. Isn't that adorable? Whoops, there you go. Isn't it just the cutest? And what I did was I pressed my seams. This one didn't press real flat, but I pressed my seams towards the pink, because the pink only has 1 seam in it, whereas the purple has 4, or the pink's got 2 and the purple has 4. Now this is where we start differing from the directions. In the directions it tells you to sew this into a tube. I don't want you to do that yet. I've taken my 5.5, I think it was, yep, 5.5 by 40.5 inch strip, and this is the piece we put together, and I'm going to sew these together to make a much wider piece. So once I've got those sewn together, I will then take my 1.5 inch by 40 inch strip, and I'm just going to press it together, wrong sides together. I know we're always used to pressing things right sides together, but in this instance, we're gonna press them wrong side together, okay? So when I'll come back, I will have this pressed and I'll have this sewn together, and I'll press that, okay? All right, I've sewn my 2 pieces together. So the first thing I'm gonna do is set my seams. That only takes a second, but it's important to do. Loosens all those fibers up. And then I'm going to press it open this way, because I want my seam to fold over like this. So I'm gonna press it this way. Now remember, this is different than how the directions are gonna tell you to do it. But this makes it so neat. Wait till you see it all done. You're gonna be just as excited as I am. My daughter saw me working on this morning and said, "Oh, Natty would just love that." So now I have a problem, because I have 3 more granddaughters, so I may have to get sewing. All right, so here's my piece. I'm gonna now take you over to my cutting table to show you the rest, and this is where it gets a lot of fun. Grab my straight pins and we'll meet you over there. Now comes the mega cool part. The first piece that you're gonna lay down, and you need an area that's at least 41 inches wide to be able to lay this out. So if you go use the dining room table or whatever you have, because it's important. The next thing that's important is that your seam, or your pieced pieces, are the farthest away from you. So you can see, here's all my piece pieces. The next piece that I'm gonna take is my little strip that I pressed wrong sides together, and I'm gonna line the upright right here. Okay, that's all lined up. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the pillowcase itself, the main fabric, and I'm going to put it down, and I'm gonna put it down right sides together. So the right side of my pillowcase to the right side of my little strip to the right side of my pillowcase. And I'm going to pin it, okay? I'm gonna pin it all the way down because I wanna hold it in place. See, I've got all my pieces together and I'm gonna pin them. Then once let me go down and pin it quick, okay? Let's see if I can get it done quickly. I don't know that I can. I'm not excellent at this, but let's see what we can do here. I should probably be using my Wonder Clips. That would be better, but I really want these things to stay in place. So I'm going to pin down, and then do you guys do that when you're sewing, make noises? I'm terrible about that. You should see how many times I have to cut that stuff out when I'm editing these films. It's unbelievable. All right, see how I'm just lining it right up. Gonna go all the way down. Not putting quite as many pins in this time because I have to actually come back to it again. But I want to line these 3 things up. It's important that they get all lined up nicely. So here we go, all the way to the end. Almost there. One more pin. All right, so I've got those all lined up and I've got those all pinned. Yay, we did it. All right, the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to gather up all of my pillowcase. And just, you'll see in a second, I'm just kind of rolling it into a tube. Here we go. Here it comes, now you can see it. All right, so it's all rolled up into a tube. The next thing that I'm gonna do is, I'll keep going a little bit so you can see. See, this is the what's it called? The whatever piece of the pillowcase this is. So I've got these there. I'm gonna kind of just group this together a little bit. I'm gonna pick this piece up and I'm gonna bring it up here to where I pinned it all, and I'm gonna pin it all together. Do that all the way down. Then I'm gonna take it over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. I'm gonna sew that all the way down. When I sew that, I'm gonna try really hard to keep my seams flat. So I actually may sew it on the other side because I want control over those. I want those all to lay as flat as I can. So I'm gonna put another pin in. So I'm gonna do that. Once I get done sewing that 1/4 inch seam, I will be back to show you the first step of the magic. This is the coolest thing. I love doing these. So I'll see you in a few minutes. I have this tube now. See, there's just this circular tube, and inside is all my stuff, all my fabric. So I'm gonna start, and I'm just gonna pull it out. Hopefully you can see me doing that. Just gonna reach in there and start pulling it all out. All right, so you can see I'm just gonna pull this right out of here. And as soon as I get it out, it takes a second. Well, it takes more than a second, it takes a few minutes. Then it gets kind of tight and you gotta mess with it. But it's so worth it in the end. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's wonderful. Look, almost there. Sorry, I don't mean to go off camera. All right, so now, look at, here's my pillowcase. I'm so excited. Okay, now I'm gonna take it over and I'm gonna press it. I'm gonna press all of this down, all right? And then I'm gonna press this up here down, all right? So I'll be back as soon as I get it pressed, because then I'm going to show you how to make seams so that you don't have any raw edges on the inside at all. I'll be right back. First seam is with wrong sides together. You do want to press it so that the seams lay flat, okay? So I'm going to press it first, and then I'm going to sew it again, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like because it's adorable. All right, I ended up sewing a 3/8 inch seam all the way around. So now I'm going to turn my pillowcase back right sides out. And this thing is just so cute. I can't stand it. Try to get my points out there. They're not perfect. I'll mess with them later. But look at my adorable pillowcase. Isn't that just the cutest? And the best part about it is I have no raw seams on the inside at all. I hope you enjoyed watching while we made this absolutely adorable pillowcase. As I said earlier, my daughter has decided that my granddaughter needs it. So now I got to figure out when I have time to make 2 more of them for the other girls. So anyhow, pillowcase, I'm glad you stuck around and you watched it, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.